Hello, my name's Andy, I'm the Ginger Gamer. Welcome to episode 9. In this video I'm going to give a small guide into how I made the pseudo documentary in episode 8, which served as a park tour for my Prehistoric City map. There were a number of challenges in making it. As you'll probably know, Prehistoric Kingdom is in early access and as such has a few missing features, especially in terms of AI. This was particularly relevant when it came to making the documentary, as the animals don't really interact with each other and instead have a series of animations or behaviours that at the time of recording appear to start randomly and not as a result of any environmental or behavioural triggers. Therefore, capturing them behaving as wild animals, either spontaneously or to a set plan or concept I had, was pretty tricky. As a starting point, therefore, I studied each of the animals in the map, noting the range of actions they performed: running, walking, sleeping, resting, roaring, vocalising, scratching, stretching, etc., and then worked out how best to use them in the scenarios I planned. However, this was still far from straightforward, as although some behaviours often followed another, they didn't always. And anyway, all behaviours occurred randomly, so there's no way to predict or plan when an animal would perform the desired action, which direction they would perform it in, or whether they would be where you wanted them to be when they did. Even something that I initially thought would be simple, walking a route or path, was really just a question of sticking the animal in the direction you wanted and then hoping they'd play ball, and if not, which was usual, just repeating it for as long as required until they did. I'll use the most complicated version of this in the documentary, the Rexes walking their morning patrol, as an example. I wanted them to walk ahead, turn right, walk to the end of the road and then turn left. To achieve this, I placed some food around the far corner and left the Rexes alone in the map for as long as it took them to find it, which was my hope that they'd be then more likely to follow the path I wanted when I recorded it, because they'd have learnt the map and would know where the food was. I'll just confess now though that I don't know if this is how things actually work in the game, but it seemed like a good idea. The first example starts okay, until one Rex decides to just wander off. This was a recurring theme, although I partially fixed it with invisible walls. A reset and one starts off fine, while the other just fancies going in a completely different direction. Another reset and one temperamental actor just wants to nap, so another reset. This one was amusing, as although I wanted them to basically do the same thing, in this try they're too synced and it looks unrealistic, especially the synchronised scratching. Another go, one sets off well, while the second just isn't playing, and eventually the first decides it's not going to either if its mate isn't. On this try, one can't be bothered, while the other is way too eager. Not realistic, so I bin it. This one starts badly. One just sits, the other appears to have a quiet, encouraging word, and then wanders off down a side street, so reset again. On this go, as usual, one faces a completely the wrong direction, the other roars at nothing, and then eats or drinks a similarly non-existent something, and then they seem to be getting their act together until one just stops and stares into space, and the other appears to be fascinated by one of the houses. Now, these have just been a really short set of examples of more than 3 hours of tries, until eventually they did what I wanted, as you can see in this excerpt from the documentary, which has added graphics and a drone sound effect. I was really tense watching this and expected them to give up at any moment, but they even turned the right way at the end of the road and made it look good by not stopping for the meat that was hidden behind the house. The next challenge was making the animals appear to interact. There was quite a few scenarios I wanted to make happen, but as it was just hit and miss getting the dinos to do what I wanted, I felt that the chances of 2 of them doing exactly the right behaviour at exactly the right time, in exactly the right position and direction, would all be next to impossible. I therefore decided that the simplest option was to use video editing to make it happen, by which I mean I would record video of each animal performing the required behaviour and then merge the 2 clips together. This would still take a lot of rinse and repeat and patience, as I'd need them to be positioned perfectly in the frame when they roared or ran away, etc., to then match up perfectly with the clip of the other animal. I'll use the interaction between the T-Rex and the mammoth as an example. What I wanted was for the T-Rex to chase the mammoth across the screen right to left. So I set up a pair of invisible walls to funnel them in the right direction. I then spent a long time setting up each animal and then hoping it would time its run in the right direction and importantly leave the frame. It actually didn't take too long for the mammoth to play ball, and it hit its marks perfectly. Next, I did the same with the Rex, starting it further to the right, and then once again hoping it would run across the frame. It actually did this after just a couple of tries, and also improved on what I was after. Its rapid stop would fit in well with a missed attack, and its then roar and further run would work as if it was pursuing the mammoth. With both clips captured, I could then begin editing. As you can see, there's 2 video tracks. The bottom has the Rex footage, the top one the mammoth. Before adding filters, the top track, the mammoth, covers the bottom one, so the Rex can't be seen. Therefore I need to add a mask to the clips on the top track to reveal the track below, while still keeping all of the mammoth visible. As you can see in the first section, once the mask called Mask 1 is applied, the Rex can then be seen. This is what that mask looks like. I set the mask to inversed, so it's actually the black section that dictates how much of the bottom track can be seen. However, as both the dinos move across the frame, one mask wouldn't be enough. Although mask 1 would work for the initial T-Rex run, once it got close to the mammoth, I needed to use different masks. Therefore, each of these shorter sections of the top mammoth track has a different mask that allow for the different positions the 2 animals would be in. However, once we get to mask 8, it gets a little more complicated, as the position of the mammoth's tail and the T-Rex's head means a straight line wouldn't work, so I make a little notch in the mask. This continues for a few masks until the Rex stops and there's clear space between them again, and the mask can again be a more simple shape. Once the mammoth leaves the frame, we only need the one track with just the Rex. And with that we have a complete sequence of the two animals supposedly interacting while never actually being in the same place. It's one of the better examples of the edits I completed. In others there are light or clipping issues, but by and large the technique worked well. Finally, I'll show how I made the CCTV footage look more like a, well, CCTV, rather than some neat and tidy HD footage. To do this I apply a number of filters that I've saved as a set in Shotcut, to save applying them from scratch each time. This is what they look like when applied, but I'll turn them off and apply them one by one to show what they do. First I apply a vignette filter to just lightly darken the edge of the frame. I then raise the brightness a little, partly to compensate for other filters, e.g. scan lines, but also as it reduces quality a little. Next I lower the saturation a little. Again, it looks a little bit more like a lower quality video image. Next, scan lines, which gives the video a more old-fashioned quality. And finally I add the glitch effect, which I think speaks for itself and really brings the complete effect of all the filters together. To finish off the CCTV aesthetic, I add a text overlay for the complete track, which adds the usual image information CCTV cameras have. I'll just end this segment with a side by side of the completed clip and the raw footage. Right, that's the end of this short glimpse into how I made the documentary episode. There's a lot more that went into it, which I could talk about in a later video. If you'd like, please let me know. I'd like to thank Ninja Logan Rex from the Prehistoric Kingdom Discord for their interest and for sparking the idea for this video. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and add any comments and thoughts you'd have. I'd also really appreciate it if you consider subscribing to the channel. I've lots more parks and videos planned for the future, especially as the devs improve and enhance Prehistoric Kingdom. I'm currently working on a very different map, this time a more organic park. I've posted some early screenshots to the PK Discord and I continue to do so, as well as some speed build and update videos to YouTube as things progress. Thanks a lot for watching and I'll see you next time.